Hello, let's continue on the remaining queries and the creating tables. So in step 5, we are practicing another attributes under the access. So if you want to order the columns by numerical values or by text values, we can do similar thing under Excel, ascending, descending, and the syntax. The function word for that function is ordered by. The default is ascending, but if you do descending, we need to specify under the code. So let's try step 5. So create query design. And then again, copy and paste. I'm trying to do a ranking of the invoice summary table. So invoice summary table, one thing, be careful because the invoice summary table, we have two words. So for two word variables, table name or column name under access, we need to use the brackets. Okay, the brackets to put them together to let the access read as a one word rather than two separate words. So that's why we talk about in the beginning. We'll create table names or field names. Okay, better put a one word variable like the name, or if you really have two words, maybe use a underscore or like a dash, to bring them together. Okay, rather than two separate words. And this one, so select. Okay, star remember means is a wild card. I'm getting both of the two columns under the invoice summary table, where I'm asking the total revenue larger than 300. So I need to change. I don't have S. So an order by total revenue. Okay, be careful. Descending. Okay, if you don't do the descending, they will normally list randomly, according to the original table order or ascending. Okay, order by, if you add the order by, they will do ascending as default. But descending, you need to put the word. Oh, then now you can run. And you can see all of the invoice ID. They do a summary like, everything is larger than 300. Okay, because I put a relative small. But if I go back to the SQL, so for example, I want to change this again to 500. And if you remove the descending, okay, let's try this. So now I think it's doing ascending, right? You can see it's starting from the smallest to the highest, or like, to the largest. So anyway, so ascending is default. Order by a variable, it will be default as ascending. But if you want to from the large to small, add the descending word, okay, to the queries. So I will keep this, okay, just because for practice. And then close, save. So I will say this is like ordering. Order by. Okay, this is a function we practiced. And then number 7, okay, if I want to update like a value under a special data field. And this one I really don't have a practice example. You can just try to learn the syntax under step 6. Update, then put the table name. Okay, so update, and then set the field name to a new value and then where. Okay, because if you put a field name, for example, like last name or first name, then where give you, like, for example, the customer ID. For this customer, I want to update their first, like the company name or company address or phone numbers, then you need to put a special place, right? Or if you want to update a group of records, you can say, oh, order date between like a day or like, between like in a time period. Okay, that's by like, where give you the update location, right? So like, which data range you want to do the update and how to do the update. Okay, so that's number 6. And then similar, number 7, if I want, like, there may be a duplicate customer numbers or order numbers, okay, like in a special table, I just want to select the unique values, right? So unique values, then you can select distinct, okay, distinct field name, or like distinct customer ID or invoice ID or employee ID, whatever the data field, you want the unique values. Okay, that's 7. So no real practice. Okay, 6, 7, just to try to understand. Then number 8, okay, use a between variable to specify a range of data. Okay, it can be a range of dates, or it can be a range of your customer ID, or other like a range of data based upon some values. So let's try number 8. Okay, query design and to code. And this one especially copy and paste my because the data variable. Okay, they use the pound sign. So copy and then paste here. So they use the pound sign to indicate, okay, like the range rather than by other like punctuations or symbols. Okay, like the data variable. Here they put a pound sign. Okay, like so that's the so be careful. So I'm selecting all of the invoices, right, from the sales order between like the first 2 weeks of October. All of the sales IDs, invoice IDs, sales orders in the first 2 weeks of October. Okay, where? So now we can run it and you can see, okay, they are only filtering the invoice ID to satisfy the range, okay, variable. So from October 1st to October 15th. So it's close and save. I will say this one I practiced between function. The number 9 is also like a filter, but this one they use in rather than a range. For the in specifications, you are only selecting any record as one of the variables you put as the in. Okay, it's not a range, it's individual values. So let's try this. Okay, you can see the difference. So copy and paste the code under step 9. Paste. So I'm doing a data search invoice, okay, from the order details. I'm looking for invoice number only. Be careful. Only these two. Okay, one of them or both of them, or if you have no, it will return no value. Okay, but you are not really looking a range. Okay, between these two invoice. So either the first one or the second one or both or nothing. Okay, like so individual discrete outcome, okay, rather than variables like our data records in the range. So if you run this, interpret midterm, I think maybe I don't really have that invoice. Okay, I think I may have something I need to fix. Even you can see I copy and paste It's probably about the ID. Okay, let me quickly see, maybe change something. The other details, I do have those, you can see. Probably the syntax is punctuations. So access is very sensitive about. I'm guessing is here. Okay, this like, so probably I can use a single quotation rather than double. Let me try. No, yeah, I think that's a problem. Okay, single quotation. Okay, I will change my typing. Okay, like my the type the punctuation. So single quotation again, the in, okay, like the values for the invoice ID. So let's take a look again. So if you are referring to the invoice ID, the values use the semicolon to quote them rather than the double, okay, double like parentheses. So single parentheses. So save that, and I will call like in criteria. That is fun. Okay, in criteria or like in filtering. And number 10 is also only to know, okay, like for example, if I really want to delete a table, which is not really very common, and you can use the delete word, okay, the function word, uh, like or like delete, delete from, or maybe like some data records. Okay, again, like if you delete a table, you use the job. Okay, but for delete the records or delete some fields, probably like the data row. Okay, like you can use the delete and where to specify the criteria, but we don't have anything here. Okay, like you can try, but this is something available. Oh, just let you know. And then I have 11 and 12 is on your own to practice more SQL. Okay, by yourself. Then if you see the handouts, I have a summary for the numerical calculation like this aggregation available like the average sum at 5, okay, max, minimum, and count. And then the relational operations where, if you like do comparisons, especially like equal sign, larger, smaller, equal, or greater than, okay, like, those logic comparison values. And then finally, I'm going to show you the other objects, right? So under Access, we have learned tables, form, okay, like, which we didn't do in the new assignment. Queries is very important. And the other one, you probably have realized the other group, we haven't tried the report yet. The report is different from query. Report is something you want to save for a longer term of use, like a statement, right? So monthly, like what the financial statements or some other reports, like weekly sales reports, monthly, right? So something you recurring. Okay, we want to generate in recurring basis, and you can send to some other people, other departments to review. Okay, rather than data query is more like some your own search, right? So like temporary. Oh, we keep it for our own records. You rarely let users, other users like managers to look your own query. Okay, when they request some data after you even pull it, right? Get it from your queries, you still can generate a formal report. You need to generate a formal report to present to somebody else for management or for other functions. So that's like the function of reports. Formal, you can put many other formats and recurring, okay, formal statements. So let's try two simple practice. For reports you can start from different, like, you can create actually labels, a report wizard, black report you can design, and you design the report by yourself, everything starting from scratch, and a general. Okay. For a simple one, I will start from a report wizard. Okay, so create report wizard. For report wizard, if you click on all of your available report template, right? So this is for queries, you can, I think, get more, okay, mostly from tables. But for a report, I can use the existing tables, and also all of the queries can be the foundation of my statements, okay, all the formal reports. For example, I want to do a reports for CA customers only. Okay, so I'm doing a report based upon a query rather than a existing table. Oh, so query, and this one I need all of the fields, right? So you can do all, or you can use this single arrow to select. Okay, I'm getting all of them, and then next. And do you want to add any grouping levels? Probably not, because I really don't have, maybe zip code, okay, or the city, right? Like, because we already have CA only California, maybe organized by the city, right? So group by the California customers by the cities. So, and then adding the city as a group variable, because the layout, okay, so that will show you the layout organized by the cities. And next, no descending, ascending, because I don't really have any variable, or maybe by the name, right? Maybe company ID, yeah, right, ascending, and that's it. Okay, you can do more than one levels of sorting, okay, like, by the zip code, or maybe this ascending organized. Okay, then, and you can actually have the summary. This is more important if you have numerical values. Okay, I want to do a summary by maybe their revenue, total revenue, something. Okay, that's like an option. But for this simple one, I'm going to finish and wait a little bit. For me, it's still not responding. Okay, but it should work. Okay, you should get a layout, okay, for what you are requiring. So let's wait a little bit. I don't know how long this will last, but maybe you can just stop here. If it's pop up, okay, I will show you in the next video.